It's 6:02. We'll call the meeting to order, and we'll start with the pledge of the flag. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sign-in sheet, Lee Turner with the Fleetwood Public Library.
Thank you. My name is Lee Turner, I'm president of the board for the Fleetwood Area Public Library. I try to come out every couple of years or 3 years just to update you on how we're doing and what we need from the community. Right now, since we renovated the library on the first floor, it's in the community center in Fleetwood, in case you're not familiar with it. Fleetwood had given us a room 4 years ago. We started our renovation there, and since then, it's done nothing but increase in circulation and usage throughout the entire community. Because we are on the first floor, we do have that visibility. It is a bright and inviting space at this point, which is totally the opposite of what we had before. Our circulation continues to increase. Programs like our Tigers in the Park, which is for the youth in the area, had almost 1,400 people participating in it in June and July of this year. We call it our summer reading program, but it's actually a combination of a lot of things. They go out to neighboring farms. We have it at the sewer plant. They had people come in with reptiles. There's art programs. I think one of the boroughs did something with the stream. So, anything we can come up with to keep the youth busy and happy during the summer is a priority with us. And we invite all of our readership area, especially the boroughs, if you've got something interesting that you feel we could bring a group to, please let us know at the library, because we're always looking for new things. In July of this year, we reached almost 8,000 items in circulation. When you consider the size of our readership area and even the size of our library, I know when I went to my husband, who was on council in Fleetwood, and gave him the statistics, he's like, what? We don't keep those statistics. They come from the county. It's all calculated in a big system. So 8,000 items in circulation is a lot. That's not only books, but we also have a library of things. You can check out cameras, yard flamingos, pickleball paddles, almost anything that you can imagine. You can look it up, and if we don't have it, another library might, and we can transfer it in for you. So please try to utilize that service. Nearly half of those 8,000 items are in circulation are children's items. And that's one of the reasons why it's such a high priority for us to emphasize our programs for the youth. We did just hire a new youth services director. She lives in Fleetwood. She has serviced some of the different libraries in substituting for the position within the youth group. So we lost Stacy Laux, who had been with us for many, many years. She took a position not within the library system, but in another field. Our adult classes are also very popular. We offer everything from line dancing to book clubs, including a sci-fi book club, which I've never been to, but they're very popular. You can participate online or come in. We have sewing, art, and again, any programs that you can suggest. One thing that I'm trying to work on right now is something on Alzheimer's, to let people know what their resources are, because there's almost nobody in the room that that disease has not affected. We're seeing more and more statistics also showing that people of any age group, but especially children who spend less than 30 minutes each day on either a computer or a digital device are testing higher in test scores. And as adults, they continue to be avid readers, they do better in job markets, understanding common documents like medical forms, mortgage papers, if anyone can understand those. It helps you really just to continue those good habits that you learned as a youth. So we're encouraging all three of our readership areas to advertise the library, to keep it in front of people, because it can only elevate the entire community. We're running on a new system right now, so I don't have all the 2025 statistics. But in 2024, our readership area, which is Maiden Creek, Fleetwood, and Richmond Township, saved a total of $791,385 from checking out books instead of buying them at a bookstore. So that's, I think, a nice statistic. For 2025, our budget was about $198,000. We received $28,000 from Fleetwood. We received $15,000 from Maiden Creek. They just increased that to $17,000 for 2026. And we received $7,000 from Richmond. We get $115,000, just over $115,000 from state and county resources, totaling just over $165,000. The difference between our budget and what we receive in community and state and county funding is about $33,000, and we make that up with fundraising, grants, our mail campaign, donations. Every once in a while, somebody comes out with a very nice donation. Doesn't happen often, but we never turn it away. We're very frugal, we're very careful with our funds. Nobody at the library, including our director, who is required to have not only a bachelor's degree, but also a library science degree, which is neither inexpensive nor easy to come by. He only makes $19 an hour. We have people who've been there 20 years making $15 an hour. So we are very careful with our funds. We try to make that dollar stretch as far as possible. The funds that we receive from state and county depend on the support that we get locally. This year we met up with a $3,000 shortfall for 2026 because of a population increase. I don't know who issues those statistics, but no one told me about it, otherwise I'd be here earlier. But there was a population increase, so we're going back to our boroughs and asking for an increase. Everything is based on a per capita. So if the population increases and the amount that we get from our local municipalities doesn't increase, the per capita goes down. So we get less from state and county. We're asking, if possible, for anywhere from a $1,000 to $2,000 increase from Richmond Township. Because I don't expect an answer tonight, I'm sure you've got things to discuss, but if there's any questions that I can answer for you, or if you'd like to come in and visit the library and see what it's all about, I'd be glad to meet you there on a tour. Any questions?
All right, no questions.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming and giving us an update.
Thank you. I won't be staying because I don't know anything else about Richmond.
It's riveting meeting, I mean.
I know. Well, the Eagles are on at 8, so
Yeah.
I'm more than out of here. Thank you.
Thank you. Bill Frederick, GT Church, you're on the agenda.
Yes,
So I don't,
yeah.
so you're good. Approval of the minutes for November 10th, monthly minutes. You guys have any questions?
No, I look good. I'll make a motion to approve.
All in favor? Aye. Code enforcement.
For the period ending November 22nd, we issued 8 permits, total construction value of $1,265,635.84. Those were 7 residential permits, 1 non-residential building zoning permit. One of those was a new home. We issued 7 COs, did 20 building inspections, a couple of property maintenance and zoning issues. Permits included, again, there was 1 new home, a couple of zoning permits, solar panel, electrical permit, roof, a couple of roofs. So nothing too extensive. And then as far as maintenance and zoning, 11 Farmers Drive, I called and left a message for the number I had for that gentleman. I did not hear back from him. So I'll follow up with that this week. We had discussed that property over on Fordsville Road. At last month's meeting, we did issue a final notice of violation. Property was posted, so that will end up going to citation next. We had something come up at 15 Kempsville Road, an abandoned property. You guys know anything about that?
15.
Must be next to the
Bookstore.
bookstore.
Yeah, there is an abandoned property right behind it.
Have you noticed anything out of place with that, or is that something we should be? Somebody must have complained to one of our guys about high grass and weeds.
Yeah, that's been sitting there like that for years and
Has
years. I always assumed it belonged to the bookstore, but I don't know if it does.
I believe the same, it's the same property, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
That's
And I think the trailer, at least it used to be the trailer, used to sit up above that. There was 2 trailers at one point. I think that's owned by the same person as well, unless that's changed over the years. But
So Gene Kleppinger and Elena Holmes.
that could be correct. It's hard to say.
Okay.
I don't know if I know their names, but I believe it's all the same property.
I know the owner of that property is out of town, in like Philadelphia area. But it wouldn't surprise me that that's all one property there.
All right.
And they're really, they don't do anything with it. There's trees growing out of the sidewalks, and it's just not the best. Maybe something we should take a look at.
Well, if you want us to take a look at it, we can.
I don't think it would hurt.
It's, all right. We posted 194 Minnesota Church for the zoning hearing. That hearing was held a week and a half ago. I believe everything was approved for that. That was for the venue. 1634 Masellan Springs. We're taking that off the list. They had complied with, had gotten most of the junk and trash removed from the property. We're not gonna go after it for high grass and weeds at this time of the year. So we'll see if it sells till then, or we'll deal with that next summer, next spring. There's a property again on Timothy Drive that he left door hangers for folks to kind of take care of their high grass and weeds. I looked at a picture of it. It didn't look bad enough at this point in time to really be pursuing it. So we're gonna let that one wait till springtime. See if they take care of it better in the spring when the grass is growing. That's all I have.
So the house right tight against the bookstore is one owner, and that's Thomas Sherwood.
Thomas Sherwood.
Yep, that's the same as the bookstore. The next property up would be 15 Kempsville Road. that's the people that you said, but there's a property between that and the bookstore, so depending which the complaint came in.
Okay, they were talking about 15.
Yep, then you have the right people. That's different than the bookstore.
Okay,
But the house, there's a house, a trailer, and the bookstore all in one parcel.
okay,
So yeah, I would check it out.
all right.
All right, any questions?
No, I think we're good.
All right, thank you. SEO report for November for LTL. I asked Jen, she's getting a list of who didn't pump, but she said it's down to just like 3. So we're getting an update. Liz, any other questions? No. All right, police report.
All right, for November, 133 incidents for Richmond Township, 17 crash investigations. We issued 38 traffic citations, total 46 traffic stops, 1 criminal arrest, 4 reportable crimes. We took reports for 97 hours of criminal investigation follow-up and 11 hours report time. Not too bad. The only thing we had some thefts, a fraud and a criminal trespass. I actually got 4 applications, and the testing is scheduled for this Sunday coming up. The other thing I have is we finally completed the renovation of our patrol, so that's all done.
Okay, any questions?
I don't know if you were privy to this letter that we got regarding this gal whose husband was involved in an accident at the intersection of Baldy and Sherry. And she was questioning the wisdom of putting a stop sign there. And I just wanted to get your input on that.
Yeah, so I looked at the report on that. Brian had made me aware of the situation. I looked at the report, and it is my opinion, of course I wasn't there, but I don't really think that necessarily had anything to do with the intersection itself. It sounded like the vehicle made a left-hand turn and he had the right of way. The line of sight from where like that vehicle would have turned, you're talking 150, 200 feet, and it's clear. So my opinion is I don't think the intersection had anything to do with it. Honestly, I don't know if a stop sign would have prevented something like that happening anyway. But he or she could have been turned into a driveway and did the same thing. Made a left into somebody. So I don't see a need for it there. It's not heavily traveled. I checked it just again this week just so I had a fresh outlook on it. The line of sight for intersection to me is more than suffice for what it is.
And I don't think there's been a big history of accidents there either, to my knowledge.
No.
Okay. That was my thinking too. I just wanted to get your input on it.
Yeah.
I think we should respond to her and let her know that we looked at it and it's our opinion that it probably was a bad situation.
Okay.
But the driver made a bad decision.
Just says about the signage I could put up. Signage.
Yeah, I don't know what she was referring to about the signage
Yeah.
either, but I don't know that maybe she could give us some clarification on what she was looking for as far as signage. We would consider that.
All right. Motion to approve the 2026 Fleetwood Police Agreement.
Now, because this is an intergovernmental cooperation agreement, we need to adopt a resolution. I overlooked the email from Jen. That's the borough's resolution. We need a township.
Oh, okay, I'm
resolution.
sorry.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, I can have one ready in a few minutes, but I don't have it ready now. But I would recommend that your action tonight be to adopt a resolution. And it looks like we're up to 15.
Correct.
So I would recommend adopting Richmond Township Resolution 2025-15, which would approve the new police contract. And I'll get that over here for it to be signed.
I'll make a motion.
I'll never do that.
Any questions? All in favor? just a note on that, and Chief Olshafer and I think the police do a great job. I think they're vital in our community. They talk about hiring a full-time officer because part-time is a challenge, and that's a challenge with everything we deal with right now, especially in the current climate for police. The political environment and that has not helped the situation over the last couple of years in my opinion. But it costs a lot of money to keep the police for the township. And I think the yearly budget is just a shade over 800,000 just for our half. So it's a lot of money. We continue to do it while we can. And it's important. The large DECA being a large employer, they also create some of the necessity for police, but they're a big contributor with not only real estate tax, but the LST and the EST. So we keep an eye on it. They do a good job, I think, with budgeting and managing their resources, but it's by far our largest expense for the budget. So at some point, we're not increasing taxes. We have a surplus. I mean, we're blessed with that right now because we are diligent with what we spend. But at some point, it's going to have to be addressed if we continue having police coverage and the state don't step in to help us with that part of it. So I think it's a valuable asset. I mean, I think it's a valuable resource. I think the crime just gets worse out here than it ever has. I mean, it just moves. It's not going to get better. So I just want to make the public aware that it's an expense. So we continue to do what we can. And when we went through this the last time and did our survey, people were willing to pay more for the police, and that was our last tax increase. But it is forefront of every budget. So I want to make the public aware of that. And thanks again, Chief. I know you do what you can, and we support you. Just like to let the public know.
Thank you.
It's a cost. It's a cost. And I think it's a cost worthwhile right now. I just hope we come up with better funding solutions with our state. So, which I don't see that anytime soon. All right, Virginville Fire Company. Anything to add to your?
Yeah, so it's not part of your packet. I gave it in front for Jen. Is that letter we put together as a funder that we talked about a few months ago. That's a draft there. We'd like to get the board's remarks, rebuttals, or approval, or whatever you guys think that if we can move forward or not with that under your guidance. Or if anything you want to change before we move forward. We did put in there about that we already do have, the tax funds, but we're just seeing if everyone wants to give a little extra. And some of the projects that we're starting to work on, that those funds can go to.
I like it. I like that you identify what you're looking for, the need, that you're not just asking for money, there's something.
Yeah, there's 3 top projects that we're working on right now.
I see it.
Obviously, the one is our tanker, but we're looking at 2028 plus for that. But we'll start getting that ball rolling on what it's going to look like or what we're going to do.
I'm okay.
I think it's good.
I like it.
Thank you.
All right, Walnut Town. Anything you guys have to add?
Nope.
All right. Any questions? Lifeline, they have their report.
Yeah, they sent over November's and October's in here. I did not get one for Topton. I requested it twice. I have not received it yet.
Okay. We seem to be on pace a little bit less this year than last year, which is good. All right, motions to approve. Are you guys good? Sorry, I'm moving right along. I'm going right by very reminded we have Eagles tonight, so. Resolution 2025-10, 2026 real estate tax levy at 2.5 mils, same as what it was last year. Any question on that?
We discussed.
I need a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
All in favor? Aye. Resolution 2025-11, 2026 Township Fire Tax Levy, same as last year, 1 mil.
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Township Streetlight Tax Levy, motion, resolution 2025-12-2026, light tax levy for 80 cents a foot for selected parcels.
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the resolution 2025-13-2026, the final budget.
And I'll make a motion, we approve it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion to approve the resolution 2025-14, the sewer user fee increase from $222 to $225.
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, the reorganizational meeting, Monday, January 5th, 2026, at, oh, what time? Did we discuss the time?
We did not. Last year we did 4 o'clock.
I think it's just okay with that. We'll just make sure everything all right.
We don't need anybody besides the board for that, correct?
You're still gonna have a regular meeting?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
We don't.
Yeah, I'm good.
Public's welcome, but it should be a long week. Yeah. So, 4 PM.
Yes.
Make a motion that we do that.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. A motion for the 2026 township meetings, the second Monday of each month. There's no deviation from the second Monday of each month, except, are we doing Columbus Day?
No, I'm saying, I have on here, the 12th is Columbus Day, if you want to do a different thing.
Does that affect, that doesn't affect me, but does it affect you guys? Yeah, and I'm okay with it. Yep, same here.
And we're still gonna do 6 o'clock at night, is that good?
Yeah, that works out well. We should have thought of that 13 years ago. I make a motion that we accept these meeting dates and times for 6 o'clock.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Planning Commission opening. We have a Planning Commission opening. We have,
Nick Stoltz, who's had, his term ends January 1st. And Brad Flume had discussed interest in taking his position.
you're still interested.
Sure.
You have some good background. I think you'd be a good asset for the planning.
I'm a little experienced.
You have a little experience. So I'm excited that you're willing to take it on because it's hard to get volunteers. Well, it's a paid position, but it's basically volunteer.
Yeah.
So,
It's much more fun than he leaves on.
so yeah, what do we have to do for that? Just make a motion to accept.
Just need a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept Brad Flume as a planning commission new member.
I will second that motion.
All in favor? Can we send Nick a thank you? 'Cause he's
Yes.
done it a long time. He was a very good asset also.
Yes, he said he wanted to step down if anybody wanted to fill in, if they get tired of it, he would be more than welcome to come back, but he wants to take a little break.
Yeah, that's great. We have a great planning commission, I think. Well, everybody, zoning, everybody in this township does a great job.
And just to let you know, Matt Dempsey has agreed for another 4 years, as well as Jesse Bittler has agreed to a 3-year term with the zoning hearing board. Just waiting to hear back from Todd Stutzik on his
Terrific.
term, but everyone else is coming in.
Great. All right, now we discussed the email we received on the intersection of Baldy and Sheridan, so I think we're good there. Engineers report.
The first item there is simply the reaffirming the Walters subdivision. This was the land development. I'm sorry, it's just the subdivision, not the land development of the individual lot, which is currently under review. So this is just basically so they can get to the courthouse and record their plan. Nothing changed on it, so recommending the board reaffirm that approval.
I'll make a motion to reaffirm it. All in favor?
Willow Crest, they, as you know, we're still waiting on one section of the light, but it seems like, I think, from what we hear, most of the lights are on. Is that accurate?
Yeah, the light at my cul-de-sac ironically is not on. Because I think it's the one that they had. When I stopped in to talk to Med Ed when they were there turning the lights on, they said the terminals were full, so they had to replace one of the terminals, and I wasn't sure if that was inside the light post or if that was in this thing that they installed in our yard. He was vague on what exactly was, and I didn't feel really deprived. I figured somebody was gonna know, so I called Mario to let him know that, hey, they're here, the lights might actually turn on. And I sent Chris a voice message too, just saying like, hey, the lights are coming on. And ironically, it was my cul-de-sac that the light didn't light up. So.
And I think the detail he got is more than we have. So it's actually, could you update us on
Yeah,
that?
just
But they basically said they couldn't finish that day. They will come back as soon as they can. No idea what that means, but.
Well, I did get an email from First Energy because I wanted to find out what was going on. He said the problem is on their end, and one of the gentlemen over there is talking to a guy that can fix it. Hopefully over the next few days, they'll get out there and fix the problem. So it's not going to take a month's worth of time. It's just going to be a few days, but I will keep following up on this one.
Thank you.
And what I can offer is like, when it comes on or I see somebody in development, I'll shoot Jen an email and just say, hey, they're out working on it.
That would be
Yeah.
great, because Jen has made, it seems like 100 calls.
Yeah, I was shocked when they were lined up along the Rhino Drive there.
Yeah,
I just stopped in to talk to somebody. That was the info I got.
to get something done, which we appreciated, Jen.
So Chris and I did meet with, I think 2 people from, it was Mario and Laura Grande for just the next steps. So once that does come on, the thought here is that we can proceed with the street dedication portion of it. There is still the open space and work that they need to complete. There's been some change of guard of who is at the conservation district, so I'm making sure we go through and that whoever's taking that over is clear on what is going to be done, needs to be done. But before we get there, once the light comes on, we're looking to move forward with the street dedication, which would then be a request to release the remaining funds. So that roadway has been paved now. It's, I just checked, it's 3 years. And they did say that they would look to ask if that 18-month maintenance period would be waived. The last I had looked at it with Robbie, generally speaking, the paving was still in good shape. There was some concrete work that they had to do. I think some of the punch list items on that list still, I don't know if Robbie had a chance to look at it or not, but generally they're cleaned up to the point that we'll probably be doing that at next month if they do come through with the work here. So
I think it's reasonable to reduce or eliminate the 18 months under circumstances. It's been completed for a long time, and you've got to, it's gone through a couple of freeze-thaw cycles, and you have a good idea about whether it's intact or not.
I think the exception we made, Chris and Michelle kind of suggested it was except for the lighting. Since that was just started.
Absolutely. I'm talking about the road.
Yep.
I'm only talking about the road.
Just kind of remembering that item that we had
Yeah,
that discussion.
We need a full maintenance period for the lights.
Yeah.
So are we responsible for the lights now? we pay the electric, are we responsible for the lights? For the
Yeah.
lights, like repairs, like,
After the expiration of the maintenance period, the answer is yes.
that works better, I think. I think if we're just good, because we can go ahead and go out, we get it fixed, and our
Yeah.
LEDs, they should last a while.
Yeah.
Then we get charged just the electric we use or whatever, I think it's gonna be a little more
Yeah, and
reasonable.
to the maintenance period, there will be that 18 months where technically they are still on the hook for, once they're on, changing those until the end of that 18-month period, in case there was something that happened. Right?
Yeah, I thought they also said they were willing to throw some money on the table for, loss of liquid fuels revenue. Or am I imagining that?
That was the other condition to taking the roads over, that they would contribute that money lost on liquid fuels if they weren't dedicated before November. I believe the number is about $2,700.
It's not much, but it's something, but when
It's to cover maybe plowing once or twice if they have to.
but where are we at with that process? We have to get the roads dedicated before we can plow?
Until that occurs, Grande is expected to continue with the plowing on that road.
So,
They understand they go through.
yeah,
it.
but, so we should try.
Yeah, they've been through and plowed, and then they also, since the sidewalks, along Rhino Drive all the way up to the school, they snow blowed those the other day and everything, so that'd be something else that kind of interesting on if you guys would come in and do that, or whose
Yeah,
responsibility is for that.
we're responsible for that. Yeah, we'll take it, we already, that's part of it.
Well, we will be when we
Yeah.
accept dedication.
Well, yeah, when it's ours, but I'd like to get that sooner than later, because I know they're not as, how are they with the snow removal? I got a lot of complaints that they weren't as.
I'm not the one to ask, I deal with so many townships, I know what you guys are up against, so.
Yeah.
They come through, and some of the guys are much better than others, and some come much sooner than others. It's
Because our guys are really good with what they do.
I think
It's-
last year we
they
did
waited
get a
long
complaint or
enough.
two.
What?
I think last year there was a complaint or two, which kind of kicked into
Yeah.
pushing Grande a little bit. I think they were better after that, but
So just if you can get it wrapped up till next week, we can get on board with these guys.
I just didn't want to jump the gun without that
No,
last light
no,
complete,
no,
and then we'll go.
No, I know, and I don't, well, maybe that will be the holdup, because I don't,
I assume there's a wearing course on all that road. I mean, it's done, unsealed.
Yeah, and there was an access path that goes off the one road into Fleetwood, and I can't remember what road it ties into, but that had a paving surface that was done as well.
So we're talking about dedication acceptance for the roads and lights. The open space is an open issue. I have been feeling that the township shouldn't accept the open space until the improvements are done for liability reasons. I mean, we could work around that with some kind of insurance and indemnification, things like that. But it's cleaner if you just postpone acceptance until Grande completes the improvements that they are committed to doing.
Right.
So is the board on the same page with me on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
but I don't want to wait to make the road wait.
No, the roads can be handled separately,
Good.
but the sidewalk would be affected by that.
Well, we have to get them, make sure they're clean.
Yeah.
So. All right.
That's about where we're at with it, Chris. The next one on there, solar farm, there's not really much of an update just because of the weather. I will say that the conservation district did come back before the weather turned and said that you guys or the solar farm did get the grass to grow in the areas that they weren't getting it to grow, that took. But there are some red lines that have been dragging behind an approval from the conservation district. So I think they're getting closer to saying that their permit is now going to get terminated by the county. And then they'll probably be pushing for us to say, well, we put in the weir plate. Is that okay? I don't know if we've necessarily had a good opportunity to see that. I would like to see at least a storm or two before that occurs, but I expect they ask for that. And we're still waiting for their proposal for Mertz Road. We asked them to look at that, and their first proposal was just not an option. Trying to get the other locals that they thought affected the road to contribute to fixing it, which is not part of their permit. So they still have to work through that. Those are about the only 2 items before that closes out, but it's not being rushed on their end. So, the only other item is glad tidings, and you did mention Bill Fredericks, who signed in. So they are proposing some kind of interim work as they move forward towards a parking lot expansion and another building addition, but you're here, I'll let you talk it through a little better.
So this is the old golf course. The mini golf course is still active, not commercial use. Kids use it, between services. This is the original building. He came in and did a LD, I think it was for the building expansion here, and the parking lot that went here. We did a parking lot expansion here.
Yeah, the first building was land development, and then the next
And then
was
a
just
store
additional parking.
The church is growing, and especially Saturday at 9 a.m. Parking lot gets pretty crowded. So
Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday. Sorry.
Maybe they changed denominations.
So we're looking at some parking options. In the interim, we would like to do a stone parking lot as a temporary condition, keep it under 5,000 square feet. Rent calcs, it all flows to this basin, it all works out. With that, we would agree to do an agreement to submit an NPDS permit within 6 months of the agreement being done. They are looking at options. Obviously, your question would be if parking lot's full, how's the building? The building is getting very close to capacity. So they're looking at expansion options. At one point, way back when they had purchased the property, we had done a variance application for impervious cover, which granted 45%. This plan says 50, but I've reread the decision. It's 45% of impervious cover. They looked at a building back here, but it's kind of set, especially what they've done in the interim, it's kind of separated from these two. So maybe they'll go back to the drawing board and look at, expansion this way type of thing. But that's all what they're working on, and hopefully they will solve within the next 4 months, so we can submit a full MPS permit within 6 months.
So we're working through, what we asked him to do is submit a stormwater plan, which we were able to look at the additional parking and confirm and agree that the basin for the amount that it's expanded can handle what that additional is, and it still meets the stormwater requirements. The thought was, though, because this is really working towards that expansion, what would be a land development, that the idea of proceeding with this would also have the agreement saying that by doing so, because that additional impervious is kind of moving towards where they would need this NPDS permit, you can, because it's needed, have this parking area, keep it under 5,000 square feet, so it's not a necessity to go to the conservation district here, but have the agreement saying, work towards that permit, have that submitted in 6 months, knowing that that's going to lead to the land development. And if that doesn't proceed, then there is a security that would have to then be removed and then just pursued at a later time when they were going to get the NPDS permit. Or if they go after the permit 6 months, and then the other part was pursue the land development in 3 years or less. And that seems to work with their schedule and financing, but a reasonable time to say, then you can tie all this in, and that little stone area, which helps now, would be included in that later permit as well.
It's not a big area, but it's about 14 extra spaces, so just alleviates the pressure on Sunday mornings.
So even though it's just a stormwater review at this point, we wanted to bring it to your attention so you're aware that there's the thought of this agreement, and if you were okay proceeding with that agreement to allow for the bigger picture of what they're doing here.
I talked to Scott about, some kind of escrow with this agreement for the construction costs plus inspections, and then also a cost estimate for removal if they don't do the things that they are committing to do down the road, plus inspection of the removal, and the escrow amount would be whichever was the greater, construction plus inspection or removal plus inspection. I'm not sure how the numbers would work out, but in any event, I think once that escrow is established, it should remain in place until they have completed a land development planning process. So we could end up holding this escrow for
A few years potentially, yeah.
potentially a few years, but this would be security for the township that if they don't fulfill their permitting obligations, that there's money set aside to remove the stuff that they're putting in without going through full planning. I think we're talking a couple $1,000s, I don't know,
Yeah.
somewhere.
I talked to their maintenance guy, he said around $5,000. So most of the cost is the stone, it's all the stone essentially.
So it's not a huge number, but it would be something to hold as a security for the obligations. And the obligations would be submit an NPDES permit within 6 months and complete a land development planning process within 3 years.
So what's the motion? Should make?
This would be to authorize an agreement with Glad Tidings for a temporary parking lot to be installed on their property with financial security and obligations for permitting in the future. And then, I'll put all the details in the agreement based on what we just discussed, if that's agreeable.
You guys have any questions?
Hey, from where I said, I'm fine with it.
It's a good problem to have in this day and age.
Yep,
Yeah.
agreed.
So I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Did you get all that, Jen?
Thank
Yes,
you
I did.
very much, appreciate it.
I will say too, that through this start to finish, that plan that he showed, they're slowly picking away at it, and it's been a good project for them, and on our end too, it's gone well at every stage, so.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, solicitors report.
All right, we have our usual sewer accounts report for you. I'm not recommending any new action tonight. So this is, at this point, just for your information. And in the new year, we may need to start taking some action on
Yep.
some of these.
Yep, I agree.
The list is getting a little longer again. Hopefully that's temporary, but
I can send out courtesy letters too.
I think that's a great idea. Thank you.
Mhm.
Do you have any questions or anything on that report?
Nope.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the Comcast agreement, and I believe that Michelle Mayfield has talked to them about the items that we would like to tune up in the agreement to make it at least as good as the service electric agreement, and in some cases maybe a little better than that. I think we'd gone over sort of a checklist of items last month. And so when we have feedback from Comcast based on Michelle's discussion with them, I'll come back to the board, we can talk about it some more. Any questions about that?
They're not in the township yet, are they?
I don't think so. I haven't heard anything. Are you seeing any permitting activity?
For Comcast,
Yeah.
I don't think in this area,
This
But
would
they
be
are-
probably all aerial, I would think, in this township. Would any of it be underground here?
if they don't have the aerial already, then no, I don't think so. They're usually always tying into some existing infrastructure that they have, so.
Are they looking for just certain areas of the township or the whole township?
Well, they'd be obligated to go at a minimum at every place that has a certain density of homes per linear mile along the road. I don't have that number in front of me, but that's part of what the franchise agreement would cover, would be a commitment on their part to, if they come in, that they have to install within any areas that have a certain density of population or density of homes.
They're coming.
So whether they go in the whole township, I don't know. I mean, is service electric in the whole township? Probably not.
Yeah, I think pretty much.
You think they are now? Okay. So, one other item not on the agenda, just for your information, I had a meeting with one of your zoning hearing board members on unrelated matters, and he asked me to share with the board that that the zoning hearing board would appreciate hearing like a letter when you have an opinion about an application pending before the zoning hearing board. I don't know if they've made this request ever in the past, but this was just brought to my attention. So I think he's just looking for more input in a formal way. You know, and I do have some municipal clients that send a letter to the zoning hearing board, says, you know, we recommend approval, we recommend rejection, we have no position. I think this board always discusses that, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure that you send any letters. I mean, maybe with the Fleetwood Solar Project, we did send a letter, but normally I don't think there's a letter sent. I think it's just desire for input. He also said they would love it if Jeff came to their hearings, but I said that would be an expensive additional cost, and township loses money on every zoning hearing already. I'm not sure that you would do that on a routine basis.
But if it's something that warranted it, but, yeah, I agree, it is kind of expensive.
So I'm
Yeah, I
just,
don't think it's needed for every single one, but there's stuff that is,
I mean, sending a letter would not be,
Yeah, sending a letter is, yeah, I have no problem with that, yeah, absolutely, we can remember
We've
that.
done that before.
anyway, I would just share information from that conversation.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
All right, that's all I had, unless you have any questions.
Nope. Stack Back, he has nothing on the agenda. He only said they ordered the dialer up. It's gonna be installed in a couple weeks. Roadmasters report. Unfortunately, they had a plow snow the first week of December.
yeah, which they did a great job with.
They do. Okay, any questions on that? Payment of the bills, Secretary Treasurer report.
Okay, the general fund, we had check numbers 12,179 to 122,19, including EFTs for $167,164.06.
Make a motion, we approve it. I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
State fund, there were no checks. Light fund, we had an EFT for $846.95.
Make a motion, we approve it.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Sewer fund, we had check numbers 3368 to 3370, including EFTs for $21,045.13.
Make a motion, we approve it. I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Walnut Town Fire Escrow, check number 2199 for $1,005.50.
I'll make a motion, we approve it. I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Virginville Fire Escrow, check number 2204 for $1,005.50.
I'll make a motion, we have a second.
All in favor? Aye.
I have a quote here from Smart Guys for a new tower in the shop computer. Sometimes the guys go on there and they buy filters for the trucks using the company credit card, and their computer system in there is only for Windows 10. And that is outdated. Corey suggests that we go with Windows 11 if they're going to pay by credit card because it's more secure. To change over it, I told them if they needed to use my computer for something, to order something, they could. In the meantime, but this is for just to upgrade it there, so if there's any kind of transactions that can be done, it's more secure. And
So I-
that's for $1,239.
So I have no problem with this, and probably should have said something sooner when you did say the tower, but why? I don't know what the cost difference is for a laptop,
Mhm.
but the laptop, you don't need a power backup.
Right.
And if Robbie needs to take it home or whatever, if there's snow and he wants to monitor something, I don't know if there's a big cost difference. You still get the monitors and tie them in, but
I
if the
think.
power goes down, you don't need the backup, you can take it along, you unclip it, you take it home.
I think he's talked about that before also with the PA1 calls. It's much easier for him to go and just check that type of thing out instead of coming in here and doing that stuff.
Correct. So I mean, unless he needs it immediately,
Right.
I mean, I'm okay with the quote, but I would definitely, or maybe we can approve this, but he can check on
A laptop and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, you could approve purchase not to exceed a certain amount. Not sure exactly what the dollar amount should be.
I would think you could do that for about the same.
Right.
Yeah, I'll make it, this is $1,239. I'll say we approve a purchase not to exceed $1,500.
Okay.
But I highly encourage, I don't have any towers in my business anymore. I have all laptops.
Right.
I don't have no
That's how we
backups.
have the same thing.
And then we can take them home.
Right.
I have mine's in my pickup. I just carry it because it's so much easier. I just think the flexibility, I don't know what you think, Sam, but
I agree.
I just think that we, and if Sky, if Robbie's not, and
Cody.
Cody's on it, they have a thing you set in there, and then you don't have to have a backup.
Okay.
But that would be my suggestion on that.
Okay.
So I made a motion. Do we have a second?
Honestly.
All in favor?
And I helped look at the docking stations.
Yeah,
Okay.
docking station, yep. Yeah, I have a docking station. It works. They're just slick.
And our ancillary policies for the short-term, long-term disability and dental and vision, they are locked in right now, so it was not sent out for quotes because we do have the cheapest plans right now. So those are gonna be, they go into renewal basically January 1st, but they're locked in until, as you see, 27 and 28.
I'll make a motion to accept that.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
And tax collector sitting dates for next year.
Do they conflict with anything here?
No, the only thing that we have is a possible planning commission meeting on August 31st, but they changed their time from 5 to 6 o'clock, and the planning commission has been meeting at 6:30, so they will be out in time for us to enter in.
So why would that be Monday, the 31st? Aren't they like the fourth Monday?
They're the last Monday of the month.
Oh, the last Monday?
Yes.
Oh. See, I didn't even know. Good. I make a motion we approve these. All in favor? Aye.
And that's all I have.
And, I don't have anything else. The chairman, I was got to my certificate. It is official. I did make re-election, so you're stuck with me for another 6 years. So, but beyond that, I have nothing else. You guys have anything? Any participation from the floor?
Just maybe a question, Chris, under your, under that Comcast agreement, is the intent to eliminate the current provider, which is Service
No,
Electric?
they
in that
will
agreement?
be competing with one another. So they would both have franchise agreements to operate in the township. You know, we will receive less and less revenue from cable television franchise agreements because under the federal law that provides for our receipt of that money, it is only on cable television. But the moneymaker is the internet connection. And there's no franchise fee payable to the township for the internet connection. So what I've seen with a lot of these contracts is that the franchise fees are slowly diminishing over time. And the contracts that go with them are really only related to cable television. So, I mean, hypothetically, cable television could disappear entirely at some point in the future. But the internet connection is going to continue, and that's what they're really looking for, is to compete with the providing of internet access here in the township. And, you know, again, I think it'll be just a competition between those parties. And in some communities, there's more than two, you know, entities trying to compete for internet service within high density areas. So anyway, nobody's going away. This is going to be an additional provider. And hopefully there'll be price competition that'll benefit the residents.
Good, appreciate it.
I think in the past we collected like 21,000, and this year we're down to 18,000 through today. So it is gonna go away slowly, it seems. All right, any other comments? All right, I make a motion to adjourn.
No, sir.
All in favor?
Thank you very much.
Good, how are you? Don't go out? I do for you.